presence of an officer.
Yes, sir.
Bill, now that we're in the tunnel of love, could I have a flick of your Bic?
Why just light up when you can flick your Bic? It's smooth, easy on the thumb, and you get thousands of flicks from a single Bic. The Bic Butane.
Keep flicking your Bic, Marcia. There's got to be a ship within at least 1,000 miles of it.
From the age of around 15, I started experimenting with more intriguing drugs than weed and booze. Ecstasy became available to me, and anything I can get my hands on became my limit of intake. Poppers were the first solvent abuse I had tried. They were fun because they were quite intense, though didn't last for too long, but the downfall was the throbbing headache which followed every worthwhile session. Weed was always my backbone drug, but when supplies wore thin, I would scour the house for anything that could possibly get me fucked. I found butane, an interesting substitute for poppers, an almost identical high, maybe a bit longer lasting, and no pain. Every now and then I would do a small amount, but it got to the point where I wanted more and more, and within one night I dramatically increased the dosage. Lying in bed with my TV on, I would be popping toots, like a bong, but instead of a gauze you use a tobacco plug, and when it's all burnt you suck it all through the downpipe and get a nice satisfying though somewhat painful rush. Maybe 2 or 3 in rapid succession, followed by 10 to 30 lungfuls of butane. I didn't close my mouth around the nozzle fully for fear of suffocation or overdose. I started to feel warm and fuzzy, and all of a sudden I would pass out and enter a dreamlike trance. I never realized that I had passed out because it was as though I was still lying in the same position, but strange things started to happen around me. It's hard to put them in order because it was a while ago, and I'm sure it fucked with my head and somehow altered my perception of reality. I would feel some strange connection with, I don't really know what, spirits, elements of my subconscious, other minds around the world experiencing the same thing as me. In another trip report, there was a description of an alternate reality called the Boink World. That particular word intrigued me because I often heard faint bouncing sounds and half-imagined minds of other more experienced butane heads bouncing on some sort of psychic spring, which enabled them to travel through the minds of others on the gas, but I also got the feeling there was some place they gathered. I imagined some sort of butane rave and felt the energy flowing through me like they knew me, and I was completely accepted, and I knew and understood them too. I am trying to be as specific as possible, but it's difficult to describe exactly what I experienced. I have realized through several phases of drug use and abuse that there is no way to fully explain a drug experience in a way others can understand, and this is something I have always been interested in, so I saw no other way than to try myself. Given the chance, I probably wouldn't do it all again. Other experiences include actors on TV stopping to watch me and whisper about me on screen. Weird and random stuff like looking shocked and asking each other, "What's he doing? Will he live?" Crackheads drink it to deal with a come down. I'm not on crack though. I thought there was a tube connecting my TV to some source where the world could watch me for a while, and though I knew it was pretty stupid and unlikely and completely eccentric, I still checked it most nights to be sure. I was watching one thing where a man and a woman were sitting on a bed. The TV started to flicker and the picture bent out of shape in places, and then it was as though the camera panned to the right to reveal the woman only, and she was looking right at me. "I want to have your babies. Come with me, I will show you." The gas starts to wear off and her voice is gone. I wipe the cold drool from the side of my mouth and look up to see some other completely unrelated scene. The woman reappeared at a later date. She made a picture of me shown on the screen, then it cut to a close-up of my eye and a portion of one side of my face, and as it appears, all that is shown on TV becomes numb and starts to twitch, like pins and needles or a muscle spasm. I think I asked how she did it, but it was too late. The stuff doesn't last long enough. I've tried taking more and more, but I lose track of what I am doing. I end up holding the can above my face, which lets the liquid rather than the gas into my mouth, which is cold and kind of freeze burns my tongue and just feels fucking wrong. I see myself throwing up foam, and the woman is above my head on TV shouting my name, asking if I'm okay. I've inhaled imaginary cardboard squares which I believe were at the bottom of the can above a spring to force the gas out, and believed I was choking trying to cough up the cardboard. A minute or two passes and I look for the foam or the cardboard, but there's nothing. But it's all so real. I ignore the fact that it's not when I sober up. There have been little transparent purple cactus men walking past my bed and jumping through a crack in my wall saying he'll be back later to take me to a butane mine gathering. I've spoken to the butane and it vibrated in response. For one night, they were conscious particles from some distant asteroid, harvested for our need for fire, unknown to the majority that they actually induce mind expansion or psychic powers, or some other bullshit, resulting from a brain which is probably functioning at less than half its usual waking ability. A scary one was more like a dream than most of my hallucinations. On TV was some strange image of a girl's face with some sort of tube in her mouth. Not like a hospital tube, but like some paper rolled up to suck Maltesers or something. My mind said that this was my girlfriend, though I'm not sure who I was at the time. I was sucking the other end of the tube, and some evil force was making us battle in some way. We were both being drained. I felt like I was being forced to take some horrible drug, and whoever took the most or gave in first would suffer some terrible fate. I gave in and my girlfriend was ripped away from me, and all there was around me was darkness, and there was nothing to hold on to. So I was just falling and falling and falling into more darkness. Sometimes I think I almost OD'd on the gas, and I was falling to hell for all the horrible things I've done. I don't know if or when I stopped falling, but I ended up in my bed again. Butane was starting to hurt. My lungs felt like they were coated in a thin layer of melted plastic or cling film, and hard lumps were constantly easing their way up my throat, but emerged as a white stringy liquid. My head felt empty and strained, pushed to the edge of exploding or caving in. I stuck to toots for a while. They got me to sleep okay. I didn't need a trip, but every time I remembered the weird, the crazy, the unreal, I had to go back. There was no feeling like it. I started doing ecstasy and acid, and after having a really bad trip on acid and a little ketamine, I retired to my room and got on the lighter gas, and instantly my head pounded and thudded like never before. I've never felt such pain. I grabbed either side and struggled to breathe, and all I could see was black and red and jagged lines, like lightning. I thought I was having a stroke. Since then, I did it occasionally, but all that happens is the people on TV say things about me, things they know will hurt. I've had so many weird experiences, painful, things that make me feel empty and inhuman. I blame acid, ketamine, pills, and weed, but butane is the first hardcore drug I did, and I did it to excess, and I think that is what did all the damage. Other drugs just brought it out. Butane has fucked me. I know because my mates have done the same amount and the same sort of drugs as me, barring butane, and have no such side effects. I've stopped it now, stopped butane, but still battle with harsh paranoia, social awkwardness, delusional beliefs, superficial relationships, an uncontrollable fear of the world outside my head, and lack of connection to anything real and solid. I know people can read minds and they know what I have done, but then I don't really know if it's real, and I never will. The boundary separating my mild insanity and eccentricity from the real world has crumbled away, and only now is starting to rebuild, but I am not the same. I took some things too far, but I still think back and imagine maybe I could experience it again. It was fucking fun, but even mainstream drugs have their unknown, unexpected side effects. I know some of these inhalant stories that I read sound fantastical and not true, but trust me, they are. This is the kind of wild shit that will happen to you while on inhalants, and I do not recommend it at all. That doesn't just count for butane, that counts for gasoline, freon, ether, duster, whatever inhalant that poses these risks. In my opinion, inhalants are probably a top 5 worst drug out there, and that's including heroin and meth. I do not think anyone should be doing this shit. It's easy to get their hands on, that's why people do it, but please, if you are one of these people that are struggling with inhalant addiction, just try to move to something else. I know it's hard to say that to people, but maybe try to find a safer option than, move on from there. You're not going to be able to quit right away, I know that. But it is possible to quit, even though it's super hard, I know. Anyways, if you like this story, please give this video a like, and subscribe if you're new. Also, I just created a second channel and I upload there probably once or twice a week now. I've basically been doing these new things where I read the worst combos, and I think that could be a very interesting topic to cover, maybe on this channel too, I don't know. But I'll be posting whatever I want on there basically, so If you like more off-the-cuff kind of stuff, please subscribe there. But if you don't, you could stay here, or if you don't like any of my videos, you don't have to subscribe. You could just leave if you want. I really don't care. Alright, more inhalant videos on the way. Deter will probably be soon. Benadryl will always be in there. You know what it is. Salvia, probably need to do one of those soon. And, yeah. So, that's about it for today. We'll see you next time. And don't do inhalants.